This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
Hello and welcome to PSN Newsrun. The headlines: gas shortages cripple power supply as Nigeria risks blackout following Pegasin and Dangote dispute. ASUU issues 14-day ultimatum, threatens fresh university shutdown. And on a sad note, Arise anchor Somtochukwu Maduagu killed in Abuja robbery. This and more on Newsrun. Gas shortages slash Nigeria's power supply from 4,300 megawatts to 3,200 megawatts. Grid managers scramble to avert nationwide blackout. Joycelyn is on Energy Matters.
Nigeria's electricity grid has come under pressure following gas supply disruptions that slashed generation levels nationwide. The Nigerian Independent System Operator says the drop in power supply was caused by the industrial action with the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pegasin. The strike disrupted gas delivery to power plants, cutting generation from over 4,300 megawatts in the early hours of Sunday to as low as 3,200 megawatts. In response, grid managers deployed emergency measures. Hydropower plants were ramped up to add about 400 megawatts. Real-time load balancing was applied, while selective load shedding was used as a last resort to keep the system stable. The operator stressed that these steps prevented a total system collapse and ensured supply to critical services such as hospitals and essential facilities. The episode once again underscores the vulnerability of Nigeria's electricity sector to labor disputes and gas supply bottlenecks. Authorities say they remain committed to keeping the grid secure, but millions of Nigerians continue to bear the brunt of unreliable power. As negotiations continue between Pegasin, the federal government, and the Dangote refinery, the stability of the grid may depend on how quickly the gas supply chain is resolved. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
ASUU gives federal government 14 days to meet its 7-point demands or risk university shutdown. Students and parents brace for impact. Let's hear Marianne.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has given the federal government 2 weeks to meet its 7-point demands. The union says the 14 days ultimatum follows what it describes as government's failure to honor agreements on welfare, university fundings, and other key issues. Among ASUU's demands are the release of withheld salaries, improved fundings for public universities, and a review of the Integrated Personnel and Payroll Information System, IPPIS, which lecturers say has been fraught with irregularities. ASUU also wants the government to revisit previous agreements signed on revitalizing infrastructure and providing better working conditions for lecturers across federal universities. Union leaders warn that failure to act within the deadline could lead to industrial action, a move that could once again disrupt academic calendars and affect millions of students nationwide. The federal government is yet to formally respond to this ultimatum, but past disputes between both sides have often dragged on, sometimes leading to prolonged strike. All eyes are now on the next 2 weeks as students, parents, and universities wait to see whether dialogue will prevent another shutdown of Nigerians' ivory towers. Marianne Awia, PS News.
On state news, dry taps in Abuja as residents queue at boreholes and pay more to water vendors as scarcity bites harder. Here's Ella with details.
A wave of water scarcity has gripped Abuja, leaving many residents battling to find clean and reliable supply. Communities across the capital are reporting dry taps and long queues at public boreholes as households turn to water vendors to meet daily needs. The situation has forced many families to spend more on buying water, with some paying nearly double the usual rates. Residents say the crisis has made everyday life difficult, from cooking and bathing to keeping businesses running. For poorer households, the burden is especially heavy as they struggle to afford even the basics. Authorities blame the shortages on disruptions in major treatment plants and rising demand from Abuja's growing population. Emergency supply measures are being considered, but officials warn that full restoration may take some time. Public health experts are also cautioning about the risks of relying on unsafe water sources, which could worsen outbreaks of waterborne diseases. For now, the search for water continues daily across Abuja, highlighting the capital's urgent need for a more sustainable and reliable water system. Ella Okechukwu, PS News.
Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed sacks Women Affairs Commissioner. Reasons unclear as civil groups watch closely. Dan filed in this report.
The Bauchi State Governor has dismissed his Commissioner for Women Affairs, sparking conversations over reasons behind the move. Governor Bala Mohammed announced the sack in a statement from Government House, but no official explanation was given for the decision. The commissioner, who had been part of the governor's cabinet, was relieved of her duties with immediate effect. While the state governor has not provided details, political watchers say the move could be linked to ongoing cabinet reshuffles aimed at repositioning the administration. Others speculate it may be connected to internal disagreements within the ministry. The Women Affairs Ministry plays a crucial role in advancing gender-focused policies, welfare programs, and empowerment initiatives across the state. Her removal has therefore raised concerns among women's groups and civil society advocates who are calling for continuity in projects affecting vulnerable groups. This is not the first time Governor Mohammed has reshuffled his team, as he had repeatedly emphasized performance and loyalty in his appointments. Attention now shifts to who will step in to lead the ministry and how the shakeup will affect women-focused policies in Bauchi State. Reported for PS News, Daniel Okejeme.
A school building in East Java, Indonesia, has collapsed during prayers, killing at least one student and injuring dozens, raising urgent questions about safety standards in expanding structures. Here's the report. At the Al-Khuzini Islamic Boarding School in Sidoarjo, East Java, a building under construction collapsed during afternoon prayers. Authorities say one male student has died, nearly 100 have been injured, and dozens are trapped beneath rubble. The structure was originally a two-story prayer hall. Workers were adding 2 more floors without proper permits, and the foundation could not support the extra load. Male students aged roughly 12 to 17 were praying in the collapsed section. Female students praying elsewhere escaped injury. Rescue efforts are in full swing. Over 100 people evacuated, dozens hospitalized. Rescue teams are searching through the night for the missing. Heavy machinery is being used cautiously due to risk of further collapse. Families gathered at hospitals and near the school, anxiously awaiting updates. Some students are in critical condition. Authorities have launched investigations into building permits, construction quality, and adherence to safety codes. This tragedy highlights the dangers of unauthorized construction and weak regulatory oversight in school infrastructure. It also underscores broader concerns in Indonesia and globally about building safety, especially facilities meant for children. Parents, communities, and officials will demand answers, compensation, and reforms. As rescue teams push to save lives and uncover the cause, this collapse may become a turning point for safety enforcement, whether in Indonesia or anywhere schools are built without proper safeguards. Reporting for PS News, Oluwatosin Deba. Hearts are heavy as family, friends, Arise News colleagues and journalists nationwide mourn the painful loss of Somtochukwu Christelle Maduagu Sami, a bright young anchor whose life was cut short in a tragic robbery at her Abuja home.
Hello to our viewers in the US and around the world. I am Somi Maduagu coming to you from Nigeria's capital.
Somtochukwu Christelle Maduagu, a 29-year-old anchor, reporter and producer with Arise News, has been killed during an armed robbery at her residence in the Katampe area of Abuja. The Federal Capital Territory Police and Arise News say Maduagu, fondly known as Sami, died in the early hours of Monday after an armed robbery at her home. Police have launched an investigation and officers condoned off the scene as they pursue leads. Colleagues at Arise and fellow journalists describe her as a bright, hard-working broadcaster whose career was only just gaining wider recognition. Tributes poured in across social media and from public figures following the announcement. The slaying has renewed urgent questions about personal security in Abuja, with residents and media bodies calling for a thorough forensic investigation and faster action to curb violent robberies in residential areas. As the investigation continues, the newsroom mourns a young life and career cut short, and Nigeria waits for answers and justice. Reporting for PS News, Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada.
And that's our package on PSN Newsrun. I am Uluwatosin Deba. Good evening.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.